Hello everybody, this is Zach with Top Deck Nation coming at you today with another deck profile video to get you guys prepared for US Nationals. Speaking of Nationals, this is the list that actually won Japanese Nationals. Now, I think it was held about a week ago, I think this past weekend actually. Now, something to know is that the Japanese Nationals are a little bit different than ours in the sense that I believe their seniors and their masters are kind of grouped together. There's like a Flight A and a Flight B. The Flight A is kind of like the younger players, like our juniors, and then the Flight B would be like the seniors and masters kind of grouped together. So something to know there, but this is the list, I believe, that won the Nationals in Japan. And of course, the winner got to take home that awesome Mega Blastoise, that gold trophy. Pretty awesome, of course. But yeah, it's going to be Mega Sceptile and Seismitoad that we're going to focus on here. And, you know, looking at this list when I saw it last night, I was like, what on earth is this, right? It's a very strange looking deck. I mean, Mega Sceptile, it's kind of under the radar. I mean, it's not so much played right now, although it may see more play during US Nationals because, you know, it has a fantastic Greninja matchup. It just kind of plows through like Zygarde decks, things like that. So it's kind of under the radar, but there's also Seismitoad. And I'm guessing it's there to kind of combat things like Night March, because normally Night March could just kind of plow through Mega Sceptile. But this is a very strange list, and I want to go through it, kind of talk about it, and then I want to show you a game that I recently played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, just to kind of give you an idea of how it works in action. So yeah, so first of all, we have a 4-3 Mega Sceptile line. This is pretty standard, of course. But what's strange is that the person who won, they chose to split the Mega Sceptiles here. And as you can see, it says new right here because I didn't even have any copies of this. Usually this one isn't really played so much, but we will take a look at it. So it's got that agility attack, flip a coin of heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage to this Pokemon. So this could be pretty good if you're setting up. You know, if you manage to flip heads, well, it just kind of buys you a turn without taking damage. So not too bad, of course. I guess it could knock out a Joltik if you have the Ariados out with that Poisonous Nest ability. And then the strong slash attack, it does 130, but it can't use it during your next turn. So to me, this would be good to knock out things like Baby Eviltal or maybe a Baby Xerneas, and then you just retreat out and heal it using Mega Sceptile's attack. Of course, the other Sceptile is the one we're most familiar with. It's got Sleep Poison, so it can put your opponent to sleep and poison it. And then, of course, Unseen Claw, which is a great attack. It's going to do 60, and then if it's affected by a special condition, your opponent's active, it's going to do 70 more. So, you know, pretty good. You know, it's got some obvious synergy with Ariados' Poisonous Nest, which basically poisons both Pokemon. And of course, since you are a grass Pokemon, you won't be poisoned. So obvious synergy with Sceptile. Speaking of which, we have Mega Sceptile. That artwork is really beautiful, pretty awesome. It's got 220 HP, which I like to see. It's very tanky, very bulky. Of course, it's got that, I want to say Theta is the symbol. Theta Stop, prevent all effects of your opponent's abilities. And, you know, it already beats Greninja thanks to weakness, but this is why it really beats Greninja. Theta Stop is going to completely stop things like Crobat and the Sneaky Bite ability. Greninja's Water Shuriken, Giant Water Shuriken, it's going to stop that right in its tracks and let it just kind of plow through. And of course, Jagged Saber, 100 damage, which is pretty solid already. Attaches up to 2 grass energies from your hand to your bench Pokemon. So I could put one on another Sceptile, maybe one on Mew or Seismitoad, and then it heals that Pokemon completely. So if it's on the brink of getting knocked out, it's going to heal it completely. And this is going to open up some pretty interesting plays because, you know, say I've got a Sceptile with 140 damage on it and a Seismitoad with like 160. You know, those might get knocked out next turn, but I can attach 2 energies and that's going to heal like a whopping 300 damage. So unlimited possibilities there. I like it a lot. Fire weakness is great because not a lot of fire decks right now. Entei I think Entei's just not seeing play because of things like Greninja and Seismitoad. So I know that is there is that water toolbox deck that's kind of popped up with just kind of bombarding the board with like water energies in your first turn. So Mega Sceptile's pretty good. It was an interesting deck choice here. Of course, we're gonna play Hoopa. It's got Scoundrel Ring, so we can search out those Pokemon EXs really quickly. And then I like the inclusion of Mew here. First of all, it's a non-EX attacker. It's going to throw off the prize trade. And then most importantly, it's got Memories of Dawn, which says it can use any of your basic Pokemon's abilities, or attacks, I should say. So that means I can copy Sceptile's Sleep Poison or Unseen Claw. I can copy Seismitoad-EX's Quaking Punch. So it's a nice little utility card, and it's got free retreat. So that's pretty nice. So as far as the supporters here, I like the supporters line because it's unconventional, it's super thick, and that adds a great level of consistency when you don't have to rely on trainers mills and acrobikes and stuff like that. When you actually have supporters in your deck, you're going to be less susceptible to things like Trevenant's item lock. Trying to think of any other thing that would item lock. I guess Seismitoad. So that's really going to help against Trevenant. And I did play Trevenant, and that's going to be the game we're going to look at. So we will take a look at that. And as you can see, it will make a huge difference when we can draw into those supporters every turn. So for Sycamore, pretty standard. It's probably the best supporter we have in the game. Just let you draw a fresh 7. For N, which is pretty unconventional. Normally people might play like 2, but I like that this person chose to play 4. And like I said, that's going to add consistency and disruption on your opponent. 2 Delinquent. Usually people play no Delinquent or maybe 1 max in something like Trevenant, but Delinquent could definitely help here. So I guess against certain decks, maybe like Night March or something like that, just kind of wiping their hand down, punishing them for trying to keep a small hand. If they have like the Verse Seeker or the supporter for next turn, it really, really helps against that. 2 Fisherman. Fisherman is great because I can set up plays where, I basically retreat out, put a couple energy in the discard, Fisherman those energy back, and then use Mega Sceptile's Jagged Saber and heal a bunch of damage. So that's pretty good. Hex Maniac, very good against stuff like Trevenant or Bronzong. Shutting off those abilities makes a huge difference, lets you play items, disrupts your opponent, so really good. A couple more, we've got Lysandre, pretty straightforward. Mega Sceptile can actually hit that magic 110 number if you use Jagged Saber and Ariados' Poisonous Nest, and that's just enough to knock out something like a Shaymin-EX. So pretty good. And then lastly, a Xerosic, good to knock off tools like Fighting Fury Belt, Special Energy. I know that Darkrai Giratina deck is starting to pick up some popularity, and we might see it at US Nationals, so this is pretty good to knock off those double Dragon energies. So that pretty much covers that. As far as stadiums go, this is interesting. He chose to play 5 stadiums, and you're going to win the stadium war every time, let's be honest. So 4 Forest Giant Plants lets you evolve right away, so get those Mega Sceptiles out as early as turn 1. And then Parallel City, this is pretty cool because you had to set up with like Hoopa and Shaymin, but both of which are liabilities, and against something like Trevenant, they could basically bring out the Hoopa and just start stalling that way. But this is going to let you kind of counteract that. And then, of course, the other side is going to let you reduce damage by stuff as well. So that's pretty good. Things like Greninja will be attacking for 20 less damage. So 5 stadiums, that is going to be really great. It's going to work wonders against stuff like Night March and Trevenant, anything that really uses 3-4 stadiums. Then as far as items, if you look, we don't really have a lot of items, so we're not going to be affected too badly by item lock. 4 Ultra Ball lets you get out your Pokemon, of course. 4 Verse Seeker, for consistency, lets you reuse your supporters. Super Rod, of course, lets you put energy back in the deck or any combination of Pokemon. Float Stone is good to put on Hoopa and Shaymin and stuff to retreat out just in case you do get stuck. And that's pretty much it. There is Sceptile Spirit Link. We play 3 of those, of course. Some people opt to play 4 just to kind of increase your chances of getting that turn 1 Mega Sceptile. But 3 should be fine. I mean, if you're going first, honestly, just kind of evolve it into your turn. There you go. But that's pretty much it. And the energy count, we play 8 Grass. That's pretty consistent. Great with Fisherman, Super Rod, etc. And then we play 3 double colorless. 3 because, Seismitoad isn't really our main attacker. But it is good as a utility card, and of course you can also draw into it that way. And it really opens up some plays as well. For example, if they manage to Headringer my Mega Sceptile, I can use a Grass Energy and a DCE to still be able to attack because that fulfills that 3 energy requirement. So overall, it was a really well thought out deck. I think it's a very interesting deck. I don't know if it could do well at a US Nationals. You know, Japan, their format is completely different. I think one of their top decks right now is like Night March Garbodor, which is just completely unheard of over here. And I think some of the other decks that did well over there are just kind of crazy well as well, like Seismitoad Greninja. That's crazy. You know, Seismitoad bats are usually played, but Greninja, wow. But yeah, this is pretty much the deck. I like it. I want to go ahead and try it out. So let's go ahead and jump into a game that I played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, and let's see this deck in action. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. And we're just waiting on our opponent to see if we will go first or not. So it looks like they're going to call the coin flip, and let's see what happens here. So I lost the coin flip, so they are probably going to go first. And we're going to see what happens here. So start off, and not so good of a hand here. I'm going to have to start off with Mew, which isn't that bad if it's free retreat, but it looks like I may have to Professor Sycamore my Mega Sceptile and 2 Spirit Links, so that is not good. If we could draw into an Ultra Ball, that might help, but oh my gosh, we're playing against Trevenant, and that's going to be kind of hard on us because that item lock, if he can manage to get that turn 1 item lock, that's going to be very difficult on us. You know, like I said when I was kind of going over the deck, the item lock itself isn't bad, but you know, this is a pretty terrible start because I'm having to discard a lot of resources here. So we're going to see him use Battle Compressor, and he is going to just kind of search through the deck here and see what he can draw out. So he is probably looking for like a Wally, because if he has a Verse Seeker, you know, he could just use Wally, but I don't think he got it. I think I saw a Delinquent, a Xerosic, and something else. So we're going to see an Ultra Ball, so he might get like a Shaymin or a another Phantom, but he'll probably get a Shaymin just because he's going to draw a bunch of cards. That's what I would do anyway. And we do see a Shaymin, and he's going to go ahead and draw 5 cards. That setup ability, really awesome. I really hope Shaymin does get reprinted in the fall with that championship set. That would be great because Shaymin is, I think, almost $50 now, which is crazy going into US Nationals. We're going to see a Trainer's Mail, and I don't know if he was looking for the Wally, but it looked like he did whiff it. So at this point, yeah, I think he got rid of a Judge with the Battle Compressor, and it looks like I see an AZ, so he's going to put down Shaymin. So for his supporter this turn, he's only going to draw 2 cards. So since he did play AZ, that means he cannot play Wally, so that is good for us. We're going to have a turn of items. I really hope we get like an Ultra Ball or something, and we get another Professor Sycamore. Yeah, okay. I'm not really sure what to do here. I don't want to have to discard everything, but I think I'm going to have to because I can't really use setup. You know, if I try to use setup, I'll get like 2 cards, and that's with me attaching the DCE and the Spirit Link and all that stuff. So I'm going to discard my hand. This is better. I like this. I can put down a Sceptile. I can probably evolve into Mega Sceptile without the Spirit Link. So I'm going to go ahead and Super Rod just in case that Mega Sceptile is prized. And then this comes, you know, this is a pretty hard decision. Do I go ahead and get rid of the Hex Maniac? I think I'm going to have to. I really don't want to, but I could probably Verse Seeker for it. So I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball the Sceptile and the Hex Maniac away. And I guess kind of looking back, I should have probably Ultra Balled first and then use Super Rod, because then I could put Sceptile back in the deck. But I do play Hoopa, and I'm going to go ahead and use Hoopa's Scoundrel Ring ability. And let's see what I have in here. I probably want to get Shaymin and then maybe another Sceptile. So we'll go ahead and do that. And it would be great if we could get like a Spinarak or something out, because that 110 damage is really important here. It can knock out Trevenant. Not the break, but the stage 1. So I will set it for 5, and it looks like we didn't really get a whole lot. And I do have a VS Seeker, so just in case, I guess I can use Hex Maniac, or get that back, I should say. And yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do, because he's going to item lock me regardless. So at least having the option to use Hex Maniac is good. So I'm going to Mega Evolve to pass. That gets rid of the Bursting Balloon. And we're going to see what my opponent does here at this point. Chances are we're probably going to see a Trevenant. We're probably going to see another Phantump, maybe a Wobbuffet. He does play a Level Ball, so that's good. And he's going to get another Phantump. And yeah, so looks like he is getting pretty well set up here at this point. Which, of course, our turn 1 looked pretty good, too. I mean, we got Mega Sceptile, we got an Energy out. We were able to set up with Shaymin, and there we go. We see a Trevenant with a Bursting Balloon. Is he going to attack us here? He needs a Dimension Valley, I think. So he's going to play a VS Seeker, and we're going to see a Judge. So similarly to Red card, it's going to bring me down to 4 cards. And under Item Lock, that could be really crazy if I don't get a supporter. But thankfully, it's not going to disrupt me that much because I do get an N. And he puts on the Dimension Valley, so he'll be able to pick up a knockout with Tree Slam. It's doing 120 to Mew, and then he's going to put 20 on Hoopa and Mega Sceptile to put pressure. Of course, Hoopa is weak to Psychic, so that means that he can probably set up for a knockout. And Hoopa has 2 retreats, so that's also kind of dangerous as well. So I'm going to knock off his Forest of Giant Plants. I'm going to go ahead and attach to Sceptile, and I'm probably just going to use N. I think Seismitoad in this matchup is probably not very helpful. It looks like he's pretty well set up, so me item locking him isn't really going to matter. I'm thinking about whether or not I even want to use Jagged Saber because I could just spend this turn evolving. It really just kind of depends because I don't want to take 60 damage. I do want to get Mega Sceptile out as soon as possible because I can just kind of stream those guys and continuously heal damage. But I think I'm going to apply pressure because next turn I can knock out that Trevenant and then he's not left with anything except a Phantump. So I'll take 60, but that's not a big deal. I mean, it would take him a few more hits just to knock me out. Let's see what he's going to do at this point. If he can get the break, that would be good. If he could get a Bursting Balloon, that would probably be better. So we're going to see what happens. He gets another Trevenant, so the item lock is certainly not going away unless I can Lysandre around it. He's going to play a Switch, so that means he probably won't be attacking this turn. I guess he didn't have that great of a hand. We're going to see an Ultra Ball. He had to get rid of 2 energies, which is kind of bad. But we're going to see what he gets here. Probably the Break, maybe, or another Shaymin. Okay, another Phantump. So he's just trying to stay set up here because he's probably thinking, you know, I might get knocked out or something. So we're going to see an N. So we're both going to get, well, I'm going to get 6 cards. He's going to get 5 cards. And, oh my gosh, we got a bunch of items here. But thankfully, we do get a Parallel City. And that means we're going to be able to knock off his Dimension Valley. So, like I said, I think the person that made this for Japanese nationals, it was really well thought out. I don't know if Trevenant is being played a whole lot in Japan, but the great thing is that it counters Trevenant fairly well. I can heal, I can hit magic numbers. I play 5 stadiums, so eventually they're going to run out of Dimension Valley. So I'm just trying to see at this point, what do I do? I'm actually going to drop the Parallel City, and that's going to drop him to 3 Pokemon. So it's going to prevent him from playing things like Shaymin or another Phantump or a Wobbuffet or something. So that'll help us unless he gets it replaced. I can't use Ultra Ball. I really wish I could. You know, these are great hands I'm drawn into. It's just that I'm item locked because I would probably go ahead and get like Spinarak or Ariados or something. So he's going to go ahead and replace the Dimension Valley again. So I think that's his 3rd Dimension Valley already. That's pretty crazy. Does he have a supporter of any kind? And we see a Verse Seeker. He's going to opt to use AZ. He probably realizes that my hand is pretty bad because I pretty much had to pass. So he's going to go ahead and draw 5 cards, and we're going to see what happens here. So what I don't want to see is maybe something like Wobbuffet, because Wobbuffet could definitely start like taking those knockouts. You know, Trevenant by himself isn't really a threat. I can pass and get rid of the Bursting Balloons. I can, you know, take 30 or 60 damage here and there, but that doesn't matter. But Wobbuffet, of course, is going to be doing a lot more damage. If I had, say, 110 damage on my Mega Sceptile, then because of Wobbuffet's attack, you know, for 1 energy with Dimension Valley, he's doing 120. So that is crazy. We got to be careful there. So Trevenant Break does come out, and he's going to have to pass because he does not have the energy. He had to discard a few early on. So, which it looks like he was able to Super Rod, but still, he's whiffing the energy. I put down another Forest. That's going to make it even harder to attack here. So we're in good shape. I'm going to go ahead and attach, and that kind of nullifies that Headringer. And I'm going to put 100 damage on him. I don't have any energy from my hand, unfortunately, but I was able to put some pressure and damage that Trevenant Break. And that means I'm pretty sure he whiffed that Bursting Balloon also. I think Bursting Balloon against this kind of deck is really, really crucial. I think if you start whiffing it, that's when Trevenant starts to lose against something that's kind of two-shotting it. So we're going to see what happens here. He's going to Sycamore, and I think that puts him down to like 10 cards. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to read from my end just because it's a smaller screen I'm looking at. But I think he's down to like 10 cards at this point, so he might even deck out or come close to it. And it looks like he's got 3 Trevenants on the bench, so he's completely set up, but he's got to pass again. So I'm thinking about what to do. I should probably end just to get more energies. And yeah, we get 1 energy. So the great thing is that Sceptile and Shaymin both have 1 retreat, but Hoopa does have 2, and that's why I'm going to attach to Hoopa. It's not only going to heal the damage on Hoopa, but it's also going to make it so that I can retreat out for a single energy. So that's probably the best play. I think I do get a knockout here, but I'm going to attach it to Hoopa, and I think that's the better play. That's going to prevent him from Lysandring it up. It's going to make him kind of think twice to the point where he probably won't even do it. So at this point, I think we're in a solid lead. I know the prizes look even, but he's starting to run out of resources, and we're doing okay. We've got like 20 some cards left on our deck. We've got plenty of supporters in our hand. We can reuse energy or draw cards, so we're in pretty good shape here. He's gonna opt to, it looks like, attack. He's got 3 energy on this Trevenant. That is crazy. He's gonna play in. That's gonna get him down to, I think, 4 cards. So he's running low on cards. And okay, we still get a Sycamore. So I mean, we are in really good shape here, guys. Like I said, Mega Sceptile, once it's set up, it can hold its own against a lot of stuff. It's effectively 2-shotting most EXs. It's 1-shotting Shaymins, 1-shotting Greninjas and Zygardes. It's got built-in healing. So I mean, it's a very, very versatile deck. And honestly, I don't really know why it's not being played. I think at US Nationals, if you could find a way to kind of counter something like Night March, I think it would have a really good matchup overall. Because it doesn't really struggle with item lock that bad, as you can see here. I think I had a turn or two where it kind of whiffed or something, but overall I've had lots of supporters, lots of stadiums, etc. And I think he's pretty much run dry out of Dimension Valley. So he's having to resort with attaching or attacking with 3 energies. So at this point, I'm actually going to retreat out, and I'm just going to Mega Evolve this Mega Sceptile, because next turn that means I can attack. I can probably draw an energy next turn to heal that Mega Sceptile, and it's going to force him to have a Lysander in his hand. And, judging by his deck, he's got 4 cards left, 3 cards left. I don't know if he actually has it, and every card is really, really crucial at this point. Because he could deck out. He's only got 5 prizes left, so an N is going to be hurting him eventually. So he's got to be really careful with his resources. He puts the energy on Wobbuffet just in case he wants to attack with it. Probably setting up to knock out Mega Sceptile, but if I can get an energy, I'm going to be healing that damage off. So it looks like he's probably going to go ahead and Tree Slam. He's going to put damage on, it looks like Shaymin and Hoopa. So I think he's just kind of predicting I'm going to be healing, or he thinks that Wobbuffet can just knock it out regardless. So I'm going to go ahead and put down Shaymin, draw 2 cards, because I think it's just important that we just go ahead and establish that we need to draw those cards here. Get that grass energy, of course. So I whiff it there, but I will Sycamore, which means I've pretty much drawn 9 cards this turn, which is good. And there we go, one of the last cards, and that's going to let me go ahead and Jagged Saber for 100, setting it for a knockout, but more importantly, healing that Mega Sceptile so Wobbuffet cannot get that KO. So at this point, I think I'm in great shape. I'm in really, really good shape. He's got to think what he's going to do here. He's down to just a few cards left in his deck. You know, he can attack, I guess, but Wobbuffet is pretty much useless right now. Trevenant's going to get knocked out unless it retreats for 3 energy. So, I mean, I think I've pretty much run him dry out of resources here. He's going to Verse Seeker for N, but doing so means he's going to be left with just like 1 or 2 cards left in his deck here. So, I mean, I don't know how he's going to manage to take 5 prizes when he's only got 6 cards total in his hand and deck. He can attack, but I don't know what he's going to do. And we see a concession. So there we go. I mean, Mega Sceptile is a great deck. It's consistent. I love that it can evolve on the first turn before it's giant plants. And I like this list. It's a very unconventional list, but oftentimes, you know, going into like a national championship, unconventional decks are pretty much what win. You know, anybody can kind of build a Night March deck that they find online or something, but it's really kind of tweaking that list and making it so that you are not only comfortable with it, but you have, you know, interesting tech cards that'll help you overall with different matchups and things like that, and kind of surprising the opponent there with, you know, 2 Delinquent, things like that. Very interesting deck choices, but guys, that has been Mega Sceptile and Seismitoad. You know, sorry I didn't get to use Seismitoad in there, but it is going to be dependent on the matchup. That's going to be more of like a Night March tech. But I mean, Mega Sceptile is great. So if this is a deck that you're interested in, you know, definitely test it out, tweak the list to your liking, of course. But I'm going to have more videos up in the future. Be sure to check out our website, topdecknation.com. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/topdecknation, and our Instagram as well. So be sure to follow and like, subscribe, please. We're going to try to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. But this has been Zach with Top Deck Nation, and I will catch you guys in the next video. And I will see you at US National Championships next weekend.